done. It's turned in.
That was JID, and that was about his new album that is likely dropping within the next month. Today, we'll go over all the latest news on this, so let's jump straight into this. If you want to stay up to date with everything surrounding hip-hop, make sure to subscribe and also become a part of this community by joining our Discord server in the description. Real quick, if you don't want to listen to this, make sure to skip 10 seconds into the future, but you can now sign up for my free newsletter with the first link in the description. It comes every Sunday and recaps everything that's been happening in hip-hop over the past week, so make sure to do that. So JID is somebody that we haven't talked about in quite a while because his last record, The Forever Story, was 3 years ago, or 2.5 years at this point. But he's an artist that obviously we're all aware of, and that is one of the prodigies that has come out of Dreamville and out of J. Cole's close circle. And in 2023, I was also at one of his shows, and that shit was fire. But obviously we got to talk about the new album that is coming out, because it all started when we got reports that he held a private listening party for this new record in Atlanta, and we only got witnesses that were actually there talking about the record. Shout out to NFR Podcast for collecting this, but apparently somebody that was there, this girl said he put his heart into his next project, intentional features that work too well. He takes his writing seriously. There's a lot of duality in the themes. It's as introspective as it is competitive. And obviously this sounds pretty good, we have to admit, because if it's about JID, we know it's about the writing, we know it's about his lyrical ability. I mean, he was also featured on that Eminem record that came out last year, so we know that he's somebody that can take it up with people like Eminem. It then continued with him posting a Wingstop ad that he was featured in, and now Wingstop being also a partner with him. And in the caption he wrote, "Bruh, I've been on the road, in the studio, barely had time to sit down and really enjoy a meal, but when I tell you these new Wingstop crispy tenders are amazing, overly crunchy, flavor locked in, feel like they put extra love in these." So he's just advertising this. Wingstop partner, also thank you to Wingstop for letting me curate this ad with production from my new album. And then he himself says somebody leaking his album beats through a Wingstop commercial. Come on, we play in a different game. And actually in the Wingstop commercial, we could hear a new instrumental from one of the songs that is apparently on the new record that we hadn't heard before. And it's sounding pretty good. So this is also just positive signs for JID's new record. And I'm very excited for this, from at least what we got from the Wingstop ad. And he's right, somebody teasing his new album through a Wingstop ad, that shit's crazy. Now then it went on, because he is in Paris right now, or was 3 days ago, at Paris Fashion Week, and there he was at a couple of different shows during Fashion Week, and at one of those he gave an interview, or like a little vlog, to ID Magazine. And in that vlog he's, just going around. I mean, he was at the Undercover show, he was at the Kenzo show, we'll get to that in a second, but there he gave a little interview about his new project. Here is the clip.
Can you tell us about a project that you're working on right now?
Yeah, it's done. It's turned in. It's been turned in. It's coming really fucking soon. It's been a long time in the making, and all the T's are crossed and my I's are dotted. So I think we're in a good position to build this new world that I've been working on for the past couple of years.
So from this we can tell that the new album is apparently done and it's already turned in. And a lot of y'all also sent me messages about this, saying that Cardi can't even announce his record when it's supposed to drop, and JID only announces it once it's turned in. And that's true. There's a whole different way you can roll out a record, but the fact that it's turned in, and he's saying he's about to show us the world that he's created over these past 2.5 years, I think is very exciting. He was also asked about not possible features, but about people that he would want to collab with. Here's that clip.
If you could collab with any artist that are alive,
Beyonce.
who would it be? Didn't even get to finish.
Maybe like Sly Stone or Earl Sweatshirt.
So we can tell that Beyonce, Earl Sweatshirt, all of those sound amazing. Now, likely they won't be on the record because he only talked about them being possible features, dead or alive, that he would want to collab with, but still, it just shows that, he's trying to go for those features at some point. Now, let's talk about that Kenzo show that I mentioned, because he was a guest at Kenzo's show. He just posted stories about this, and there he was also spotted with Andre 3000, and that is obviously very exciting news. Andre 3K is somebody that we haven't been talking about as much just because he hasn't been very active. kind of putting out his own music at this point, but he's obviously has legendary status in the game, and whenever he touches a record, it's usually very good. And at this point, he's obviously just doing his own stuff, and that JID and him linked up at the Kenzo show doesn't mean that he's going to be on JID's album. Maybe though, the way that they presented themselves on social media and they posted pictures together, maybe it's an indication of him being on the record. But as I said, take all of this with a grain of salt. That is not confirmed, but that would be really huge and really exciting. And if 3 Stacks gave a feature to anyone right now, it would be somebody like JID. So maybe. Now, if we're talking about a release date for this record, we know that there have been some tensions between JID and, Dreamville and J. Cole, but it's not like they've completely fallen apart. And we have Dreamville Festival coming up April 5th and 6th. And if we, JID was always featured over the past 4 Dreamville festivals that we've had, 2019, 2022, 2023, and 2024, JID was always part of the lineup. So we can expect him once the lineup gets announced, because it's not announced yet. It'll likely get announced over the next couple of days at this point, because it's less than a month in the future, Dreamville Festival. Once the lineup gets announced, he's likely going to be on there. And I mean, it would just be great for him to drop the record before he performs at Dreamville Festival. And the same also goes for J. Cole, obviously, who we're talking about with the fall off that I talked about in a recent video. So maybe the 2 of them would still drop before that. If I had to pick, it'll likely be JID dropping before Dreamville Festival. He also said it's coming really fucking soon, so we can take that as an indication that maybe he means that it is coming, because it's now turned in, before Dreamville Festival, and he can perform it there. It would at least be somewhat of an incentive for him to drop before that, just like it is for Cardi or Rocky to drop before Rolling Loud Miami next weekend. And JID is somebody that's really interesting, because I've seen a lot of people on X already say that, we always talk about him as the next one coming up. But if you take a look at his age, this man is, I think, 34 at this point, and he doesn't seem 34. He seems like he's still on the come up, because just, I don't know, maybe his style, the way he's rapping, maybe it's about just him being this hungry and him being this hungry person when it comes to the music. But JID is always someone that I think a lot of people see as up and coming, but he's actually been established for a very long time. So let's see how this new album establishes itself. I said established quite a lot, but let's see how this new album actually places itself in his discography and in his whole career, and see what it does for him. But until the next video about JID, because hopefully that's coming very soon once we get new info about the record, I do want to know what y'all think about this. When do you think JID's new album is coming? What do you think it'll be called? And do you think it'll drop before Dreamville Festival beginning of April? All your thoughts on this, please let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.